We fly to Split and start with 4 nights in Solin. The Roman city of Salona, not much of it above ground, is nearby. Next we see Šibenik and its cathedral.
Jedom gleda dolu valu, kako ribar kapi mrižu, olmor more dol na brodi, ča na jarmo idra dvižu. Olmor more dol na brodi, ča na jarmo.
While sitting outside a cafe in this garden, eating an ice cream, the loudest thunderclap I've ever heard. We move on to the Krka National Park, some 10 miles from Šibenik. The rain didn't start until we were walking in the park, admiring the waterfalls. Solin is a small, pretty town, and the church close to our hotel room has a powerful bell, especially at night. Perhaps the food doesn't quite live up to the grandeur. With a broken shower. The concert was memorable on 2 counts. The singer on the left, with a name something like Spiro Bobbin, was outstanding, and we were introduced to Croatian clapper singing, what you're hearing. More about that later. The next outing is to Trogir, crammed into a small island just off the coast, and with lots to see.
Da bi moga tebe mladu prvi put poljubiti. Vrime od nedilje, prikine me uvijek kad te vidi. Neka stanu kucature, zapnu riči, niman srca da ti se približi, pa na straju zemlja izliči.
Meštrović is the sculptor you'll see more of.
Nije vrime od nedilje za upoje poći, ali čim zaškurine po ti upoje dođi. Priko drača, priko škrapa ja ću se požuri, da bi Boga tebe mladu prvi put poljubi. Da bi Boga tebe mladu prvi put poljubi.
Next, to Split. Diocletian was the only Roman emperor to retire. He built his retirement palace on the Adriatic coast, where he spent his time gardening. The palace is still very largely there today, though now surrounded by the city of Split. You enter by the basement, past too many knick-knack stalls, climb some stairs, and find yourself in the peristyle of the palace, a colonnaded court. The one new addition, not all that new, is the bell tower. We're now outside the palace. Gregory of Nin is a national hero who opposed the Pope in the year 926 by holding Catholic services in Croatian instead of Latin, a language which few understood.
Prijećeš vidi dušo, di more ribu zmeće, a srce moje neće. A srce moje neće.
We're off to Supetar on the island of Brač. The Cactus Hotel is spread over several buildings. It's owned by a Croatian American and seems a bit undecided about its name. It's ungrand, not an old people's home, the staff are nice, and it's close to the sea. Normally, lots of people, but this was taken in the early morning after a wet night. The food was excellent. The restaurant has a central buffet, but 4 very different areas where you can choose to sit. One evening in Supetar, our tour guide Denisa took us to a local open-air clapper competition. The whole audience, including us, were the judges. Traditional clapper is unaccompanied harmony singing, usually by a group of men, sometimes of women or mixed. We sat behind the singers, so I've added some other photos for a better idea of what a clapper group looks like. Our first trip on Brač Island, bicycling to Sutivan. This was along the coast, next to no hills.
Violin, guitarra, violin, guitarra, violin, guitarra, to su dva strumenta.
Then a boat trip to Milna, said to be the haunt of Russian billionaires and their yachts. We didn't see any.
Reci mi, Mandina, jesi li contenta? Contenta, reci mi, Mandina, jesi li contenta? Dan dan dara dara dan 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 dara dara dan 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 dara dara dan 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 dara dara dan 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 dara dara dan 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 dara dara dan 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 dara dara dan.
With tour guide Denisa, a trip to Skrip and Pučišća.
Vidi tu se mora mi star, soblačići lojke dima. Vidi tu se mora mi star, soblačići lojke dima. Pomistima kampaneli, povrhu su se ustali i gledodu po pojima i po mistu i po vali.
Limestone has been quarried near Pučišća since Roman times and still is. There's also a masonry school.
Drugi gleda po dvorima, moludicu ča igraju, retežoci, čau forši maškinoju,
I cycled to Splitska, Postura and Dol, well worth the detour.
Mole ženské, kad pomalo s ručkom gredu, od zakuću ti u glodu, store ženske vunu predu. Od zakuću ti u glodu, store ženske vunu predu. Sve gledadu kakva srca, aremo i sve u njima. Ljubav je takova.
We joined a coach tour to Vidova Gora, the highest point on Brač, then to Bol on the south coast, famous for its beach.
Ognja goruća, koja bi skočila srid, ognja goruća srid ognja goruća.
Bol was overcrowded and, I thought, rather overrated.
Ljubav imala, grana srca moga, u more bi pala, u more bi pala. Grana srca moga, u more bi pala, u more.
At Gazul on the way back, amidst derelict farm buildings, we were offered brandy, sardines, bread and wine, as if our standard regime of breakfast, dinner, lunch and tea, plus unlimited alcohol, wasn't enough. I did a circular tour cycle ride, going through, amongst other places, Lozistra, Dracevica and Nerezistra. A long climb to get up to Nerezistra at 395 meters.
Da se ni versalo, versalo u ovoj kontradi, da se ni versalo. Dan dan dara dara dan 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 dara dara dan 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 dara dara dan 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 dara dara dan 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 dara dara dan.
There's now a steep downhill to Supetar from almost 400 meters to sea level. The brakes survived the experience. One afternoon in Supetar, we went to have a look at the Rendic gallery. We liked the sculptures more than the over-elaborate bell tower designs. But if there's to be a portrait of Rendic, I must add one of Meshtrovic, a different class of sculptor altogether. Last, a walk to the nearby village of Mirza, then onwards and upwards. Heaps of stones like these are a common sight on Brač, dating from when the land was cleared for farming, well, more scratching a living than farming. We were looking for a place shown on the tourist walks map as Prihoda, described as a natural monument. All we found was an empty reservoir, but it was a good walk.
Dok cetina teče, uvijek će nas biti.
In Split, we get on a coach which takes us along the coast to Omiš, Bukarska and Tučepi. Omiš is a town with a long history and of great interest. but the coach didn't stop. It went on to Makarska, a popular resort where we did make a stop for lunch. Then on to Tučepi, a smaller, newer resort where we're to stay for the final 3 nights. The dining room was vast, the food rather good. We go for a walk in the countryside above Tučepi, about 4.5 miles, going up 280 metres.
Živiće nam ime, makar granu sikli. Rasti će nam sime, oditi smo nikli. Tukli su nas vitri, nevere od rata, al slomili nisu granu od Hrvata.
On the last full day in Croatia, a trip to Dubrovnik, bottom right on the map, 87 miles away. It's 3 hours on the coach there, 4 hours in Dubrovnik, then 3 hours back. We start with an hour's guided tour. Our guide is a supremely confident young woman with elegant slim shape, a dance teacher when not a guide. But such was the overwhelming crush of tourists, made worse by 2 gigantic cruise ships in port, that I took in next to nothing of what the guide was telling us. After the guided tour and the picnic lunch, we escaped to the city walls and did a complete circuit of them, relatively uncrowded, with marvellous views down into the city and beyond.
Dubokom vjerome što bregove mrvi, što čuvala te poplavama znoja, što branila te bujicama krvi. Vjerujem u te vjerom prognanika, što mrzne majko bez doma topline. Vjerujem vjerom tvoga mučenika, navijek ne živi koji za tebe zgine.
Planine tvoje, crkve i oltari, doline tvoje, smetišta su tvoja, sinovi tvoji, hrvatski puntari, temelji tvoji, rasuta ognjišća.
We took our time over the walk around the walls, around 2 hours, then walked back through the centre of the city to the coach.
Zemljo moja sveta, i kada ležiš smrvljena u prahu,
I kad uzdišeš na križu raspeta, vjerujem u te sveta zemljo moja, dubokom vjerome što bregove mrvi.
tu je Gospod